And tonight on our Great American panel, she is a Fox News contributor, host of the nationally syndicated radio talk show, The Leslie Marshall Show, appropriately entitled by Leslie Marshall. He is the president of Penn Financial Group, the author of The Next Great Bull Market, business expert. Mac McCall is back. And this is unbelievable. Best-selling author, brand new novel is called Goddess of Vengeance. Jackie Collins is back. You have sold over 400 million copies of your books.
Worldwide, yes.
Worldwide, nothing. 400 million is 400. That is insane.
I know, it's a lot of books. But it's great. I have the most fabulous fans and readers that just stick with me.
I know, and they're X-rated, these books.
Of course they are. That's why you read them.
I read them and I blush, you know that.
Do I make you blush?
Yes.
I'm probably the only person in the world who does.
Ah, that's probably true.
I was going to say, at least someone does.
All right, you going to explain away the New York 9? Give me your liberal spin. I'm interested.
Well, you know, I said in the lobby that I was going to give you something new, but you have to admit that this is not, first of all, this is not a district that's going to be there in a year. And
only because of what happened.
Well, yeah, but Sean, the bottom line is, this is, in America, it is not uncommon for Christians to vote for a candidate based on one issue such as abortion. And that candidate is usually a Republican. This is an issue.
This seat was held. This is 75% Democratic registered. It has been in Democratic hands since the 1920s. And if you don't see this 20-point swing from what Obama won and the loss in this election as a repudiation of Obama's failed policies, you're not being honest.
I am being honest, because I don't think it's a strike at Obama, quite frankly. I think it's a strike at anyone, regardless of their political title, being Israel and being pro-Israel. That's a whole different story. That is a whole different story.
Is that a repudiation of Obama?
I don't think it's a repudiation of Obama necessarily.
You have an altar of Obama at your house with like candles or something? You think he's a good president?
No, I used to have one of Hillary, and I had to take it down. But
I regret starting the Stop Hillary Express. All right, what do you think?
Well, you know, you look at this, and like you said, it's a highly Democratic district. This tells me that the vote has now gone from just pro-Democrat, pro-union to now anti-union, anti-blue collar. And that is what won Obama the election. This is reminiscent of going back to the Bush days. You know, why do you think Obama won in my mind? It was an anti-Bush vote. Now we're seeing the anti-Obama vote. If this continues to grow and unemployment stays like it is, there is no chance Obama will be reelected. No chance at all. I don't care who runs, Leslie.
It really does depend on
But add to this the polls. Look at the polls. The polls show he's at the lowest number. By the way, President Bush in his first term didn't go below 46%. You know, if you look at his numbers on the economy, it's in the 30s. Look at how, look, you've sold 400 million books.
Yeah.
I know you care about your readers.
Of course.
And now people are struggling, you know, to go on a family vacation, to buy books.
Which I think is shocking, because we have a president whose wife has spent more money on vacations in the last year, like $10 million, taking her friends here, there, and everywhere, while people are on the breadline in this country. And it's shocking. To me, that's shocking. And I think that vote reflects what the people want.
I agree. For example, if you're going to go to Martha's Vineyard and hang out with all the rich and famous in Martha's Vineyard, do you think the husband and wife can coordinate their flight times in and out? Did they really need to take two separate airplanes? Barack goes at one time, she goes at another time, he leaves?
No, absolutely not.
Take one plane, right?
Absolutely not. I want to hear what Leslie has to say about that.
Well, come on, guys, you're splitting hairs. Did the former president, did George W. Bush and Laura always fly together in the same plane? Were there sometimes separate planes? Sometimes it's a security measure.
They're tone deaf. Are you tone deaf?
No.
Because there are people, there's 22% of kids in poverty, 46.2 million Americans now below the poverty line, which is not very high. And you've got the underemployed, you got people that are unemployed. We don't even count half the people anymore that are unemployed. You don't think that's tone deaf?
No, I don't think it's tone deaf, because I think that every world leader deals with that, with their country.
He's not a king. This is our money, not his.
He is a president, and he is a world leader. And this happens with every president, regardless of their political
But he has spent much more money than Bush ever did. Tons more.
Bush went to his ranch, hung out, cleaned brush, and went bike riding.
I mean,
I'd have to see the stats.
Even the wealthy. Look at the poll that came out just this week. The wealthy right now are the most negative they've been on the economy in years. That is what's been driving this country.
Listen, the second biggest voting bloc for him, besides African Americans, were Jewish Americans, and to lose this district speaks volumes. When he won by 88 votes in Nevada, and now loses in this congressional race by 27,000 or whatever the number was, It is a massive repudiation of how bad he has been as a president of the United States. That's just the facts, Leslie. He's a bad.
And I think that it doesn't in over his head.
Look, but Sean, you even just said, and as Karl Rove said earlier, 88 votes, which shows that that state wasn't so gun-ho and so in love with the president.
28,001 district? We're not talking about a small
We're not talking about a hugely Democratic district. We're talking about a district that he barely won, 88 votes.
And these Democrats are not coming out to vote anymore. You're seeing the votes drop, and they're sitting on their butt. And that's what they're showing.
I mean, he said he's going to fix everything with a magic bullet, so how come he keeps on scoring blanks?
That's a great point. Why am I reading this the wrong way? All right, more with our great American panel is coming up next. And we continue with our great American panel. Why can't I ask Leslie what her age is?
You should not ask women their age.
Why, I just did ask her.
I know you did.
Where did that rule come from?
Where did it come from, Leslie? Help me out here.
Well, people ask me my age all the time.
It's different. You're a man.
Men are different.
Double standard.
Yes. And there's a double standard in politics, too, because I find that the American people would vote for George Clooney if they could and have him as the next president. You know that, don't you?
That's frightening.
Yeah, it is frightening. 14%
Why is that?
moment.
Because they think he's good looking?
Yeah, because they go for looks and they go for a macho kind of man. And
in other words, these studs that you write about in your books.
Yeah, they could be president. All of them could be president.
You know,
Jack Python.
How many times has the word quiver ended in one of your books? You've never used that word?
I've never used the word quiver. I could tell you a few words I do use.
I said to Leslie, we're having this ongoing discussion off the air.
Yes.
So I asked her your age, and I said, well, I know you're 13 because you have the mind of a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And you're proud of that.
Yeah, why not?
I like it.
Okay.
Well, that's why you've been so successful. All right.
Thank you.
Michael Moore on The View with our good friend Elizabeth Hasselbeck. This happened earlier today.
Listen, if we start to say that we're afraid to hold trials because terrorists might hurt us, we look like a bunch of wusses.
That's not why I'm saying we shouldn't
hold trials. We're Americans, and if you come here and kill us, we will hunt you down, and we will take you into court, and we will put you on trial, and if need be, you will receive the maximum punishment for what you did. What is wrong with that? That's what we are as Americans.
That is the right granted to our citizens. Even those citizens here who do not abide by law are granted those rights. Osama bin Laden never deserved those rights. Never did, ever.
Elizabeth is right. These are enemy combatants trying to kill Americans, and they're not American citizens. We don't read the Miranda rights on the battlefield and take them back and say, here's a nice cell, and here's good food and good medical care, and then we're going to give you a trial, and you might be found innocent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that they were thinking of having the trial in New York City.
Nuts.
Yeah, crazy.
Nuts. Like at Guantanamo and a whole bunch of issues, liberals are mad because Obama's backed down a lot.
Well, honestly, I don't agree with Michael Moore 100% on this. I have to say I and many Americans in the world sleep much sounder knowing that Osama bin Laden is dead.
Thank George Bush and Barack Obama, because George Bush's policies led to the intelligence that gave us Osama.
Oh, you have to go here. You have to go here.
No, and to the credit of the president, he did the right thing.
He did.
And he killed the miserable SOB.
This was a brilliant thing and a brilliant call, and that was truly commanding and leading our nation and the world and acting as commander-in-chief.
The only thing I can think of he did good.
But, oh, Sean, when you look back, though, like when Mossad went and got Eichmann, one of the things they did do and they wanted to do and Israel wanted to do and the world wanted is they wanted the world to see. They wanted the world to hear what he had done.
I want the atrocities. You know what I wanted to see his dead body on national TV and a bullet in his head so that we can see how great our SEAL team.
Well, we know how great.
It's war. And what Moore said later in the interview said, we're not at war. Well, then if this isn't war, then what is war, is what I'd like to ask him. And then he went on and say, well, it will hunt you down. Isn't that part of war, hunting down our enemies and basically protecting our country, the freedom that we have?
The president wanted to Mirandize enemy combatants in the battlefield.
Totally crazy.
It's insanity.
Yeah,
well, you're putting your troops in harm's way by doing that as well. You can't grab somebody and not expect some sniper to be taking you out at the same time.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's grade the president. If you were going to grade the president overall, what grade would you give?
Well, I did not vote for him, and I am an American citizen now. I didn't vote for anybody in the end because I decided I didn't want to vote for McCain, and then I didn't want to vote for him.
What grade would you give him?
Grade. Okay, 2.
2 out of 10?
Maybe 1.5.
I give him an F, and it's based solely on the economy and where this country's going.
F
because that's solely his responsibility.
You have an alter.
He's a leader.